Well, hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to my online open studio. I hope you're having a good Easter weekend so far, wherever you're watching from. In fact, you can let us know by posting in the comments where in the world you are. So it'll be good to hear from you. Good to be as interactive as possible. So I wonder who's the furthest away. Perhaps you could let us know where you're watching from in the comments. I'm going to try and keep an eye on any comments coming in, and try and juggle everything all at the same time. But we will see how it goes. So whether you're watching this on live on Facebook or on YouTube, or even if you're watching the recording of this, thank you for tuning in and for taking an interest in my artwork. So it goes without saying that that this year has been a challenging one for most of us in a whole variety of different ways. Personally, I've had to change the way that I work. So before the pandemic hit our shores, the vast majority of my work it came in from commissions I picked up from promoting my artwork door to door. Now that obviously wasn't going to work with everything that happened. So needless to say, there have been some changes. So firstly, I've discovered that I can lead painting workshops. I can do that remotely via Zoom. And so I've started both group and one-to-one watercolor classes. That's been quite a lot of work to do in terms of preparation, but it has been so worth it. I've also spent a week teaching in a primary school, again, done that remotely via Zoom. And that was great because we had kids, as well as the kids in the classroom, there were also kids that are able to log on from home on their devices at home. So that was really, really good that week. My home life has obviously been shaken up a bit as well. My wife Lucy and I, we didn't realize that we would, this time last year, that we'd have to spend so much time homeschooling our kids. And so that has just been crazy. At the start of the pandemic, I was not a fan of homeschooling, and it's not something that I wanted to do. And that was proved to be correct. My feelings about homeschooling are exactly the same. I'm happy to leave the schooling to the teachers. So yeah, it has been a bit of a crazy year, hasn't it? So now that leads me on to my artwork. So not having as many commissions to work on has given me more time to work on my own artwork. And it's been a real pleasure to complete many paintings that I've been meaning to do for some time. It would have been nice to have been able to do this event as I have done in the past in person, but that's obviously not been possible. But on the plus side, it does allow many more people who don't live so locally to see what I've been up to as well. So hopefully you've come and you've got yourself some refreshments and some nibbles. Just sit back, relax, and let me talk you through this collection of paintings that I've got here. You'll have to sort of imagine that you're in a nice, well-lit, spacious exhibition center or something, and all my paintings are hung around the walls. But even though you're probably watching this from your living room or your kitchen or something. All right, so all the paintings that I've got, they are for sale. Some of them have already been sold. Just want to explain how the blind auction is going to work. So if you do see a painting that you like and that you want to place a bid on it, you can do that. All you need to do is just email me with the title of the painting that you like and the bid that you are wanting to bid on it. And if your bid is the highest, then you will win that painting. So what you can do is you can go onto the website. So if I show you how to get onto there now, just bear with me a second while I add this to the screen. So I'm just going to go onto my website a second. Hopefully you can see that. So here's my website, and if you go on the top the top of the menu bar along the top here, go to blog and down to Online Open Studio. And here we have the all the paintings are listed in order here. To view a painting, you can just simply click on the image, the painting that you want to view, and then it's slightly different on the desktop compared to the. Oh, that's not showing, is it? Okay, so just bear with me a second. I'll make sure this. I'll make sure you can see this. Just need to press a few buttons here. Okay, there we go. So let me just go back to that screen. So let's close that. So on the there we go. So yeah, on the menu at the top, okay, you go to blog, go down to Online Open Studio, scroll down, and here are all the paintings that I'm going to be explaining about this evening. You click on a image. It's got, if you hover over the image, it's got all of the details which are on the bottom there, and then if you go across, it'll remove the details. It's slightly different on a mobile device, a tablet or a smartphone. You can click on the image, and then on my iPhone anyway, on the bottom right, there's like a little dot, and you tap the dot, and it will show the details. They'll come up. So hopefully that is clear enough for you. Right, I'll just leave that there for a moment. Okay, now of all of the paintings, there are going to be prints are available. So, and all the details about the prints are also written on the side there. So that's all clear. If you've got any questions, just send me an email. Let me just show you the email address. I'll just pop this up there so you can see that. If you want to make any bids, anything like that, got any questions, send an email to peter_chappell@hotmail.com. That will get to me. So I'll just leave that email address there for a second. Okay, that's great. So yeah, I've been able to work on quite a few different paintings throughout the last 12 months. Divided this into different sections. So we've got a section on farms. There's one on flowers. There's a section on musicians. There's also a section on Halifax and Calderdale, and also on maps as well. Okay, so just starting with the first section, which is on farms. So let me just get up the first painting. So I hope you're all okay, wherever you're watching this from. Hope you've managed to find your way to the venue. Okay, so this is the first painting here. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so yeah, farms are I found them a very fascinating subject matter. I've built up a huge collection of photographs that I've taken on my travels. Spent most of my time sort of in rural areas and villages and smaller towns, and I just find the subject matter of farms really interesting. So you've got the whole thing of all the farm machinery, tractors, combine harvesters. I always find it interesting when you see like a rusty old plow that's just been sat in a field for years and years. Just all the processes involved in agriculture, I find it fascinating. And so the last year I've found time to start planning some of my favorite images. So this first one here, this is called Harvest Time. I can't remember exactly where this is. It's somewhere in Essex, and in the northern part of Essex, in East Anglia. There, it's very flat, completely different to the landscape that I live in Calderdale in West Yorkshire, where it's much more hilly. So yeah, the sight of the combine harvester in the process of harvesting a field is amazing. Just the noise and the smell of it, the dust that comes up. It's one of my favourite farming sites, and this is a painting that I've done on that subject matter. The painting itself is sold, but as I said, prints are available. Okay, and then if we move on to the next piece, so this one here is called The Old Gate. Again, this one is sold, which I'm pleased to say. But this image, it's a really common sight right around the country lanes of England, driving along a road, and you'll see there's like an entrance into a field with maybe it's a bit overgrown with a rusty gate and cow parsley growing up around the sides. I can't remember exactly where this was taken. Again, it could be anywhere, couldn't it? But it's just I just think it's a great image, and I was pleased to be able to complete this painting a few months ago. Okay, so if we move on again, we've got this next one, which is called The Old Carriage. This painting, I painted it, again, taken from a photograph. I took the photograph in a village called Burley Woodhead, which is a village near Ilkley, just looking just on the main road that runs through the village, looking to the northeast. I just love the character of the carriage. Just really interesting, isn't it? It kind of tells a story, I think, and just that against the backdrop of the landscape, that whole stretch of countryside from sort of northwest tip of Leeds up towards Skipton and the Yorkshire Dales. It's a beautiful part of the country. It's provided a lot of inspiration for some of my paintings over the years. So yeah, this is it's really nice. Okay, so moving on, this next piece is this one is called Hebble Brook. This was again, I worked on this from a photograph that I took, which was just on the edge of Halifax Golf Club, where I walk my dog. There's farmland all around, and it's painted in a sort of it's called contre-jour style, which is it's a term that's most commonly used in photography, and it means, I think I'm right in saying it means, it's French, and it means against daylight, and it's basically where you're taking the photograph and you're looking towards the light source. So in this case, looking towards the sun, and it's also a term that can be applied to paintings. So yeah, this is done in the contre-jour style. When I started this painting, I really struggled with it. I was close to just giving up on it. I just didn't think it was going that well, and but it came out really well in the end. So yeah, that's Hebble Brook. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So I've imaginatively titled this painting Cow. I painted it using burnt umber and French ultramarine, a very sort of limited palette. Now, cows, they seem to be a really popular subject matter. Again, I can't remember exactly where I photographed this, but I often cycle past a field full of cows, and it's one of those images that is, it's a common farming sort of image. So yeah, what exhibition based on the theme of cows, based on the theme of farms, would be complete without a couple of paintings of cows? So yeah, there's that one, and then there's the next one as well, which is again a similar painting done in the same sort of style with a limited palette. And yeah, really pleased with how that came out. Okay, the next one is called Out to Pasture. Now this one is this is the first one that hasn't been sold. So this is available if you would like a painting like this. Horses are an incredibly popular subject matter. I just think they're amazing animals to look at. They sort of carry a certain grace which lends themselves to being painted. There's so much sort of power and beauty in their bodies, and it was a stunning image, the way that the sunlight reflected off their coats against the dark backdrop. And so I was chuffed to be able to complete that painting. And then the next one here, grazing cows. Again, just another kind of popular image that you'd see on any sort of farm around the country. Again, I used this sort of limited palette of burnt umber and French ultramarine. I just thought the composition of this, with the detail in the foreground and then the cows in the middle distance, with the distant trees, I thought it worked really well. So I was pleased to be able to do that. Okay, and then also on farms, in farmland, you see a lot of sort of derelict old buildings, and this one is, I think it's an old scout hut actually. I've called this one Old Scout Hut on Sour Lane, and this was the photograph of it was taken in the village of Thorby, which is just outside Skipton. It's another one of those buildings with loads of character, worth photographing, the hope that it would make a decent painting. And I think it did. So you check out the dry stone wall that's there, and it's a very sort of Yorkshire image. So yeah, that's good. And then again, a similar subject matter. This next one is an old barn. This one, it's not too far from where I live actually. It's called it the Barn off Green Lane. I just love the dilapidated old barns that are a common sight across farms. They kind of tell a story all on their own, and I just wonder what they've been used for over the years and how long they've been there for. Does anyone else find that kind of thing interesting, or is it just me? So there we go. And then of course on a farm you've got loads of different kind of machinery. Farm machinery, tractors and things. This painting here, now this one I did quite a few years ago actually. I think it was in 2017, 4 years ago. But it's a real favorite of mine. The whole process of muck spreading is obviously essential on a farm, and this is a watercolor of that process. It's a different kind of subject matter, really, isn't it? With the old, the machinery, the tractor. It's I find it an interesting thing to paint. So in fact, somebody commissioned a painting of 3 tractors for a gift for their son this last year, and I just enjoy painting subjects like that. So there we go. And then the last one in this section is called Hay Bales. And this one is again, it was taken, or the photograph for it was taken quite a few years ago. And I worked on the painting quite a while ago as well. I think it was 2000, look at the date on the bottom there, I think it's 2016. It was a really striking image when I took the photograph, because you had the sort of the foreground and the field was in bright sunshine, and then the distance was in cloud, was in shadow. And I like the way that the hay bales were sort of illuminated against the dark backdrop. So yeah, that came out really well. So there we go. That brings to an end the section on farms. So I work from home. I thought it would be good to show you where I actually work. Just let me just change this a second. Oh no, I'll just leave that there. So yeah, so I work from home, have done for the past 18 months. Before I worked from home, I had a studio at Homefield Mills, which was just up the road from here. But then we moved into a bigger house, which meant I could work from home, which made perfect sense to me. So I don't think many people have seen my studio at home, so I thought it would be good to make a little short video to show you around my studio. So let's see if this works. Right, I'm going to close that down and go up here. Right, let's give this a go. Welcome to my studio. Welcome to my street where I live in Halifax. Beautiful sunny day today. Please excuse the washing. This is where I live, number 103. Okay, sorry guys, it's not sharing, so just bear with me. Don't worry, I know how to solve this problem. Just talk amongst yourselves. Help get yourself maybe get a refill. We have a fine selection of wines and fruit juices. Okay, here we go. Right, I'll get rid of my face. Okay, here we go. Welcome to my studio. Welcome to my street where I live in Halifax. Beautiful sunny day today. Please excuse the washing. This is where I live, number 103. As we're going through the door, I'm going to go straight down into the basement. Go steady down the stairs, they're rather steep. As we come down, you see my door made of bubble wrap, which helps keep the warm in. There we go. And then as we come into the basement, stroke art studio, it's got the usual kind of stuff you'd expect to find in a basement: bike rack, tennis racket, folding bike, kind of stuff. Oh, the tumble dryer, of course. As well as all of that, it's got all my art studio equipment. So come over here, we've got a little bit of natural light, even though it's a basement. It has a bit of a window. There's a bit of natural light in here. My books. And then here's my desk. So this is where I work. And on the walls, we've got some of my pictures, some of my grandfather's pictures. A bit of art gallery there. So yeah, and I've got my lighting. I've been doing quite a bit of online teaching this year. So I've got it all set up ready for that. So this is my studio. And welcome to my street. Okay, and welcome back. It's me again. Right, so yeah, that's my studio where I work. And yeah, so hopefully that gives you a little insight into my working environment. So moving swiftly on to the next section of my my exhibition, which is all about flowers. Flowers make quite a popular sort of subject matter for watercolor artists. I enjoy painting them, and so it's good to be able to show you a few examples of what I've been up to with this subject matter. So let me just come on to the first one. The first painting I want to show you is of a monstera leaf, and I'm just going to try and show this to you. So just bear with me a second while I get the next image up. Okay, so let's go back to the exhibition. Flowers, here we go. So here we have a Monstera leaf. There we go. So this one is, I've done a couple of these, and this particular one is in acrylic inks. Now, I don't often work in acrylic inks. They're an amazing medium, though. They're really vibrant, and they're much sort of bolder than watercolors. Yeah, I like the way this turned out. It's a really striking leaf, the Monstera. It's got a sort of beautiful aesthetic to it. We've got a few of these plants dotted around our home. Lucy absolutely loves them. I think they work really well as a painting on their own. This one is, as I said, is in acrylic ink, and the next is a watercolor. So let me just show you the next one. Okay, slightly different. It's similar, but kind of different as well. So that one's in watercolor. And then this next one here is a daffodil, of course. It's always a joy to see daffodils come out in the spring. I really like the contrast of this painting, the contrast of the softer edges in the background. So that contrasting with the kind of crisper detail on the daffodil. It's called a wet in wet style. So where if you can see where I'm pointing to there with my mouse, that technique is called a wet in wet style, where you've got sort of blurry kind of effect, where you apply a layer of watercolor paint that's wet, and then before that layer dries, you apply another layer that's wet as well. And when the two colors or the two layers blend in together, you get this lovely these lovely soft edges, and the colors all sort of mix together. I really love that about watercolors, and it's quite a good effect there. So there's that one. Now the next one, this one is untitled. I don't know what these flowers are called. Perhaps you know what they're called. I don't know what they're called, but they look good anyway, and they made a good painting. Yeah, it's if you know what the flower's called, perhaps you want to let me know. I just really liked it. I thought it was a really striking picture. The vibrant purples against the green backdrop. It just kind of worked, and the resulting watercolor, I think it looks really good. Don't you think? Yeah, I think it does. Well, this one's available. This one hasn't been sold, so if you fancy that, then it's yours. It's got the reserve price, and that is £30. So that's a bargain. All right, moving on. This next painting, now this is called Rose and Peony Bouquet. This bouquet of flowers was actually a birthday present for Lucy, my wife. Bought them from Jade's Florist, which is just around the corner from us. It looks beautiful, and I just thought it was asking to be painted, so I did. And the best thing about painting, of course, is that the painting won't wilt. After a week or so, it can stay on the wall and it'll look beautiful. So yeah, this is quite a lovely painting. The next one, moving on to a watercolor of some poppies. Yeah, again, I don't know where this was taken. Could have been absolutely anywhere. I often, walking through people's gardens and see some beautiful flowers and take some photos, and this view of the poppies was sort of it grabbed my attention. So yeah, another striking image. So green and red are actually complementary colors, and they kind of when they appear next to each other, they kind of bounce off each other, and they kind of make each other stand out. So that's nice the way that's worked out. So that brings to an end the section on flowers, and yeah, and then I want to, just before I go on to the next section, I want to just talk about my cards that I've got. So I've taken, just let me get rid of this a second. Oh, there we go. I'll just appear there next to the poppies. So I've taken 10 of my favorite paintings of that I've done recently, and I've made them into cards. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully this will stay there. I'll be able to show you cards that I've created. Here we go, cards. So these 10 images I've taken and I've made them into cards. Yes, good, it's still there. So there's Mr. Cow and the other one as well. And a third one, some cows, the grazing cows in the field. So these are all on cards. I'll just whiz through them. Old acrylic painting that I've done. There's a monstera leaf. It's Ogden Water, a reservoir near me. The horses, and that's a painting of the Great Lake at Castle Howard. The old gate, and back to the cows. So yeah, just to explain a little bit about the cards. Yeah, I've made them all into blank greetings cards. I think it's always handy to have a couple of cards ready to send out for any occasion that might come around. So each pack has got 10 cards in it. They're £10 for a pack of cards. And if you want to order one, just drop me an email, and you can place an order. Again, if you want to have a closer look at those cards, just go onto the website under the blog section and go down to the drop down menu, go down to the cards, and they're all there. All right, so the next section is the musicians and pop stars that I've painted. Just let me get back onto there. So here we go. There's Noel Gallagher. Can you see that? Yes, there he is. Yeah, so occasionally I've painted portraits of musicians doing their thing, performing. I love music. I enjoy the challenge of recreating the atmosphere and the sort of feel of a live concert in a painting. And here's some I've done in the past. So we've got watercolor of Noel Gallagher there. The next one, if I can go across, it's Sam Fender. Yeah, so this one, it's a bit of a story about how I came to doing a painting of Sam Fender. There's a record shop in the Peace Hall in town called Loafers Vinyl and Coffee. It's an amazing shop. If you ever get a chance to visit Halifax, I would strongly recommend you visit Loafers, because it's an amazing shop. And Mark and Sarah, the owners, have done a fantastic job there of creating a real great atmosphere, wonderful shop. There's a real sort of community there. And I wanted to go along and paint. It was probably about 18 months ago now. And so I went in every Wednesday morning for a couple of months and painted. And when I was there one morning, a couple came up to me and asked if I would do a painting of Sam Fender, and I said, yeah, why not? So that one, that's what I did as a result of that. And then Amy Winehouse doing her thing. The Beatles, looks like it was from the early '60s era. And Paul Weller as well. So yeah, there's my collection of musicians in watercolor. All right, now let me just go back to this. There I am. So earlier this week, I did a competition, and it's the time to pick a winner. So yeah, I posted a competition up on Facebook. Thanks if you took part, if you shared my page and all the rest of it. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for sharing and for liking it. All the entries have been put into a hat. Yes, they have. Here is the hat. And it is time to pick a winner at random. So, drum roll, please. Have a sip of water first. Okay. And the winner is, oh, I was worried that would happen. It's Martin Chappell, my dad. That reminds me of an incident that happened when I was at school. So I'll have to tell you the story because it's funny, as that's happened. When I was in year 6, my dad was my teacher, and there was a competition where we could win a rugby ball, and all the names of the kids were put into the hat, and a name was drawn out, and lo and behold, it was my name that was drawn out of the hat, and he informed me years later after the incident that he did in fact fix the competition, and he made it so my name would be drawn out. So there we go. I've returned the favour. Well done, Dad. You've picked yourself up a framed print of mine, but I promise I did not fix that. That just happened just because it just came out. So this is the painting that is up for grabs. You can see that there. Lovely framed print. So well done, Dad. That is congratulations. That is is on its way to you. So there was a painting that was it was an acrylic painting, and I did it as a commission for Hoot Creative Arts. They're an organisation based in Huddersfield, and I was one of 12 artists who were chosen to work collaboratively together to deliver a whole series of arts projects across Kirklees. It was to draw attention to issues surrounding mental well-being, and I wanted to create a painting that sort of draws attention to the truth that there's often more going on than you can see at first glance. So just like the tree has a whole root system underground that is, it's unseen to the eye, but it is crucial nonetheless to supporting life. So we too, we have a lot going on inside of us that you can't see, but it is obviously essential for life. So there you go, Dad. That framed print will soon be on its way to you. All right. So the next part of the exhibition is all based on paintings of Halifax. So yeah, I live in Halifax, if you didn't already know. It's somewhat of a hidden gem in terms of its architecture, and you combine that with the natural beauty and the landscape. It's just a wonderful place for an artist to be. And I've drawn so much inspiration from the town for my artwork over the years. And there's just a few pieces that I've captured in watercolor, and I'm going to show you those now. So just bear with me. The first one is called Borough Market, and I'm just going to get the exhibition back up on the screen. There we go. So just make sure that is sharing. Yes, it is. But I'll get rid of my email address because that is in the way. There we go. So yeah, this one's called Borough Market. There's a section in the Borough Market called the Albany Arcade, and if you ever go to the Borough Market, you've got to visit there's a burrito place in there called Ed's Burritos or something. I often go there for some lunch, and they are the best burritos that you can hope to buy. So yeah, inside the Borough Market, there's the Albany Arcade, which is a nice space to hang out in town. So that's a watercolor of that. And the next one is called High Stones Road, and this one it's a real typical Calderdale landscape. It's an area west of Halifax, sort of going up the Calder Valley, out more towards Hebden Bridge and Todmorden, and yeah, it's an amazing landscape. It's great to paint, and this one's come out really well. Another kind of beauty spot near just outside Halifax is called Jerusalem Farm, and that's what this one is of. It's great. It's a great camping spot. It's really beautiful in the autumn as well because of all of the trees, and they sort of turn a beautiful golden brown sort of autumnal color. There's a stream that runs through it, and a little park, and kids love playing there. So that is a great place to hang out. There's this one. Now this is I mentioned Loafers vinyl record shop earlier on. This is a painting that I did that's just that's of that shop. It's got like an outdoor seating area, and as I said, the owners Mark and Sarah, they do a great job of creating a really inviting atmosphere outside that shop. So yeah, that's great. And then the next one, if I can get to, it's called Station View. More of an industrial kind of view of Halifax. This one was painted from a photograph that I took, stood on the platform of Halifax train station. You're looking over where there's a Nestle factory and some other factories. And again, it's sort of painted in similar to the Hebble Brook painting that I showed you earlier on. It's painted in the contre-jour style, and that is where you're sort of looking towards the sunlight. So that's called Station View. And if you want to step this way, I'll show you a painting of Halifax Town Hall. Okay, this is another one of Halifax's architectural gems. It's actually designed by Charles Barry. If you may already know that he was the architect that designed the Houses of Parliament in London. Yeah, the way the sunlight catches the buildings in the town centre at a certain time of day, when the sun's a little bit lower in the sky, it sort of seems to make the buildings glow. It's just wonderful. I really enjoy the challenge of painting something that has as many straight lines and hard edges in sort of more of a looser style of painting, and that's what I've tried to do here. The next one is, this is probably one of my favourite paintings that I've done. Again, it's of the subject matter is the Halifax Borough Market. It's sort of done in a similar style to the Town Hall one. I worked from a photograph which was taken with my back to the Town Hall, looking up towards the Borough Market. I had to use a bit of artistic license to remove cars, and this piece is for sale. It's framed as well, so that all the details are on there if you want to check that out. The next one is Commercial Street in Halifax. Again, done with quite a limited palette. It's taken from an old photograph, actually, about 100 years ago, early 20th century. And still got if you look closely, you can still see the tram lines. And so that brings to an end the section on Halifax. And next, I want to talk a little bit about my house portraits. So let's just go back here. There we go. So house portraits. What should we say about house portraits? Well, they make up the majority of my commissioned work since I started out in 2008. It's been great to see how my art has developed and improved over the years. The other day, I kind of dug out a copy of the first ever house portrait that I sold. I remember it was during a time when I was out of work. I was in Liverpool, and the idea popped into my head that I should go and knock on a few doors and ask if anybody wanted an original watercolor of their home. So I did, and within the first hour, I remember I picked up 2 commissions. And the very first one, it was in Allerton, just up the road from All Hallows Church, and I can show you what it looked like if you bear with me a second. Yeah, just go here, and hopefully you can see this. There we go. There it is. Can you see that? No, you can't, because I'm not sharing it. There you go. You can now. So there we go. There's the first ever commissioned house portrait that I did. So yeah, it's good. It's funny to see. I'm thinking about what I know now about painting. I don't think I'd paint it in the same way now, but you sort of see how my painting has developed over the years. If we go on to that's another one I did around a similar time. It was sort of painted in a much of a looser style. Again, it's a terraced house in Liverpool, and I really like that painting. It's done in a looser style, and yeah, it's come out well. And then a few years later, my paintings sort of developed a bit. This one was a house portrait from a house up in the northeast, a village called Stamfordham, I think. And also there's this one, which is this is a house portrait drenched in sunlight in a village in Northamptonshire somewhere. So there we go, back to my first effort. All right, so that's all about house portraits, and then next I can talk about my my maps. Yes, maps. So I've always been interested in maps, and I've always thought they could make interesting pieces of artwork. So yeah, especially aerial photography. Just find it fascinating having a slightly different perspective. You're sort of used to seeing things as we walk around, but to be able to get from a bird's eye view, it is. I always think it's interesting to see that. It's great being able to have sort of Google Maps. They've got the satellite imaging feature, haven't they? And I was looking at some of these maps with looking at the satellite view, and it sort of gave me the idea to represent areas in a bit more of an abstract kind of way, but based on the map layouts that you can access. So obviously, there's not just roads, and there's also you've got rivers, field boundaries, walls, hedgerows, and all these features of the landscape. They're all sort of visible on the satellite images on Google Maps, and it gave me the idea to work on some more abstract pieces in a whole variety of sort of different styles. So, well, from different kind of perspectives. So, starting off, well, let me show you. For example, we've got If you sort of zoom right out, and I'll just share this. Looking at the whole continent of Europe. Here it is. Right, can you see that? No, you can't. There you go, you can now. So yeah, I took the map layout of Europe and I've represented each nation with a slightly different color. And I think it looks really, really cool, really kind of effective. And yeah, I really like that. Move on to, I'll sort of whiz through these. So the next one, we are the nations of England, Scotland, and Wales. Sort of represented in a similar way, with each county is a different shade. This one, yeah, this one was done using acrylic inks, so slightly more vibrant, sort of bolder colors, and yeah, I like the way that turned out. This one, zooming in a bit now, so this one is Halifax Town Centre. Again, it's done in watercolor. You can see the pattern that you can see there. The white lines are the roads and the streets. And there we go. This is a part of Halifax called Savile Park. It's a different color palette. Quite an abstract sort of design there. This one is this was a commission of a small village called Badsea in Worcestershire, just done in a similar way, taking the street maps or the road layout and the rivers as the main features. Another one, small village in Buckinghamshire. I think it's. Oh no, sorry. It's this one is a village called Helidon in Northamptonshire. And again, a different color palette. This one is a village called Leckhampstead. And this one, these are different because, just going back to the other one, the sort of the darker rectangles that you can see there, individual properties. So they're just small villages. This one is Windsor, the street view of Windsor, and back to Europe. So there we go. All right, moving on to the next section. Okay, so I've dug out, as I said, I've done a bit of digging and found loads of old paintings tucked away in my portfolios, and I wanted to put them up for sale. And so I thought I would create make a sort of a make me an offer section. So let me show you where that is. Just close that down. Here we go. So we've got a load of paintings here. Again, it's in the same section of my website. If you go on to the menu at the top, go to blog and online open studio, and scroll down and you get to the make me an offer section. So yeah, all the paintings in this section are originals that I've painted, and I would love to find a home for them. If there's a piece you'd like, then by all means make me an offer. Tell me what you'd be willing to pay for it, and you could find yourself with a new piece of artwork, and you can see all of the images that are available there, the paintings available. Again, if you want to enlarge them, have a closer look, then go on the website and have a look, click on the image and it'll enlarge. So there's different ones there. There's also a section below that. I've got prints for sale. I've got quite a few prints that are stashed away in my portfolios, looking for a home. So do take a look at those. Okay, there we go. Okay, well that ladies and gentlemen, brings the exhibition to an end. Let me just, there we go, back on the screen. And so hope you've enjoyed that. So if you'd like to finish your drinks and well, make your way to the exits in an orderly fashion, that would be great. I hope you've enjoyed the evening and having a look at my my artwork. Yeah, don't forget, there's still time to bid on any pieces that you would like to own. Let me put up my email address again for you. So if you want to place a bid, then all you've got to do is send an email to me with the name of the piece that you want to bid on and your final offer. And if yours is the highest, then you will win it. And yeah, so yeah, and also just to let you know, obviously, if you are successful, I will let you know ASAP. So there we go. Thanks again. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm sending you all lots of virtual love and hugs, and I wish you all a very happy Easter. So cheerio.